I'm Joe Bunkle, reporting for Cornish Stuff. I'm here to talk to Ruari Joseph, the frontman of William The Conqueror, ahead of tonight's performance at Truro's Old Bakery.
My name is Ruari Joseph, and I play in a band called William The Conqueror.
And who else is in the band with you?
The drum is called Harry Harding, is a good friend of mine, and my other friend Naomi Holmes plays bass. We're a three-piece band, power trio I think they call it.
How much time have you previously spent in Cornwall?
I've probably lived in Cornwall for about 20 years now, and then I lived here as a kid as well for a bit, and then I spent some time away in New Zealand. I lived up north for a while in London and whatnot. Cornwall's kind of there's some kind of centre of the universe that keeps pulling me back here, you know, it's one of those things.
Am I right in saying that all of you in the band are multi-instrumentalists?
Some more than others, definitely. Naomi is, she can put her hand to pretty much anything. She plays brass and trumpet and saxophone and accordion and keys and stuff. I play guitar and keys mostly. Harry can play guitar, drums. I play a little bit of drums, you know. So yeah, I think Nay's winning.
Who are your biggest UK influences?
Like, I don't know, Rolling Stones. I don't know, I was more of a Stones than a Beatles man. John Lennon.
So that's the period you draw from, 60s sort of thing?
Yeah, I suppose so, maybe. I'm certainly drawn to that era, you know. Dylan, Neil Young, that kind of thing. But then, you know, 70s, 80s, Tom Waits. I suppose most of my influences are American, actually. You know, people always, and because I live in Cornwall, a really frequent question doing interviews is how does the where you are influence the music? And I really, because I write about things that come from inside your head, it doesn't really. I don't write about the landscapes or the cultural, do you know what I mean? I write about people and relationships and things like that. So
have you found this tour therapeutic?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's the whole William the Conqueror project is a 3 stages thing. So it's like there's 3 stages of life that I read about by this writer called Herman Hesse. So you have innocence and then disillusionment and then acceptance or faith. So your innocence is obviously your childhood where you don't really understand the world and everything seems all right by you, and then disillusionment happens when you sort of discover that there's such a thing as evil in the world and that things don't work and that things hurt and that life is tough. And then the 3rd instalment is all about faith and just accepting the fact that that is just a truism of the world and that you've got no choice but to kind of deal with it. So it's unnecessarily deep for a rock and roll band, but you know, never mind.
Will that be the end after the 3rd album?
Possibly. I mean, it could be. I mean, it sort of it kind of ends because it's semi-autobiographical. So the idea is that it ends. I became a dad very young. I was 19 when I became a dad for the first time, and so the story kind of ends there when I was kind of forced to grow up.
Do you bring that enthusiasm and creativity to your family life, or is that all pushed out in music?
I mean, I was a solo artist for a long time, so it was my name on the poster and my name on the albums, and it didn't feel like me, which is a really bizarre place to be. It's sort of like I felt like because it became my career, and my career was important because of my home life. So letting go of that and doing William the Conqueror was about separating them. You know, it was about saying, okay, now that we've kind of got the family life thing going, what is it? What is that pure expression? You know, where does that come from, and how is it different from when I was a kid, when you had nobody telling you to write a song and yet you'd write 20 off, you know, in a week just for fun. I wanted to kind of get back to that sort of mentality. So it's just kind of a meditative thing where you kind of just...
Can you explain the name of the band a little bit?
It's just, it's nothing to do with the historical thing. It's all to do with, like, again, sort of going back to being a kid. I don't know if you ever played Army in the Woods or anything like that. You know, it's the kind of nickname I'd have given myself as a child, you know, which would have just... It's the idea of a kid that thinks they can take over the world, you know, and is so naive to the actual world they've never heard of William the Conqueror, and so they just call themselves that.
Do you think your younger self would be a fan of
No, because he wasn't a fan of anything apart from whatever he did himself. That's what I'm trying to do, is trying to make music that I think he'd be like, yeah, okay, fair enough, but at the same time I don't want to appease him too much because he might take over my brain.
How involved are your children in your work life?
You know, I like them being around music. We have a lot of instruments just sort of in the house. Like we've got a piano in the hall, and I've got lots of guitars just kind of laying around and things laying about, because I like the idea of musical environments. So hopefully when they choose to, because I'm not going to force it upon them, but hopefully they'll choose to kind of venture towards that stuff at some point, which they are, which is great. So, you know, because I think instruments can if you've never encountered them, can probably seem quite intimidating to kids. You know, they might get frightened of them or because they can't do it immediately. But do what? Like, I can't play the guitar very well. I've managed to make a career out of it.